When an NHL team signs a big name free agent, it's going to work out one of two ways. Either it's going to fit like a glove, or like the Nashville Predators found out last season, it's like banging a square peg into a round hole. So today we're going to take a look at the landing spots for the top 10 unrestricted free agents in the NHL. Hey everybody, welcome into Clearing the Benches, your one-stop shop for hockey content. If you go ahead and hit your subscribe button right now, you'll be sure to be in on all of our future videos. Well, there are some very intriguing names. Some guys I think are going to get paid way more than they should. Some guys I think are going to take hometown discounts just so that they can keep the pace and possibly try to win a cup where they are currently playing. So the first thing I'm going to do at number 10 is I'm going to put all of the three big name Florida Panthers unrestricted free agents, Sam Bennett, Brad Marchand, and Aaron Ekblad in one basket at number 10. And here's what I truly think is going to happen there. Bill Zito is just a great general manager. He's got a great relationship with all the players. Everyone seems to love him. I think he's going to say to these three players, hey, let's keep the band together for one more year. You guys all sign 1 year contracts. Let's see if we can get another cup together and then go from there. Maybe they win a third consecutive cup and now they all want to be on a dynasty. So for sure they would come back, in my opinion, for a fourth year. But right now, I think that's what the Florida Panthers are going to do. I really, truly think that these three guys know this is where their bread is buttered. Look at all the fun they're having, and they're winning and doing it decisively. So at number 10, I've got Bennett, Marchand, and Ekblad all re-signing in Florida, probably on 1 year deals. At number 9, defenseman. He had a very rough playoff against the Florida Panthers. Dmitry Orlov of the Carolina Hurricanes. He made $7.75 million this year. He's 34 years old. In my honest opinion, I think he's going to have to take a big time pay cut, maybe down to like $3.5–4 million a year or less. And if he doesn't want to take that pay cut, I think he's on his way back to the KHL. Maybe a team like the Islanders would take him at a lower price. I know that they've got a lot of moving parts on their back end, and maybe they think they could get a good year or two out of Orlov. But in my opinion, he's not going to get paid what he got paid this year, and he could be KHL bound. Number 8, Claude Giroux. His 3 years in Ottawa, he had 79 points, 64 points, and 50 points. He is 38 years old, but the guy's mentality is he wants to win, and he wants to win in a big way. Everyone seems to like him on the teams that he plays for, so I don't think it would be a problem for him to sign, somewhere that has other big name players, like he did down in Florida a couple of years ago. In my opinion, I think the best landing spot for him would be back in Philadelphia. Go back with Rick Tocchet, maybe sign a deal, $4.5–5 million a year. He's 38 years old. He would get a chance to play with kids like Mitch, Zegras, Cates. I really do think that would put a little bit of spark in him, and I think he could probably get back up to about 65 or 70 points. So, in my opinion, Claude Giroux could go back to Philly. Number 7, and this is another guy, I don't know what his future is in the NHL, Brent Burns. 40 years old. He's still okay in his defensive zone when you look at his numbers. This year, he made $8 million. I would be shocked if he got $8 million on his next contract. I think he's looking probably more at $4 million per year. And maybe if a team like Dallas could move off of Matt Dumba, they've got him another year at $3.5 million. Maybe Burns would agree to go to Dallas and play there for $4 million a year or so. But I really don't think he's getting any more big paychecks. I think he was Again, he's good in his defensive zone, but he doesn't bring that offensive prowess like he did in San Jose. Number 6 on our list, Nikolai Ehlers. He's 29 years old. He is very good defensively. When you look at playoff teams, that's what you're looking for, guys that do the job in the D zone, and he definitely is that type of player. I think he's going to probably, 29 years old, he got $6 million this year. I really think he's just going to maybe sign a lateral contract to stay in Winnipeg. Looks like they've got a pretty good thing going on up there, and he seems to fit in well. One thing is he does tend to get a little bit banged up, and he has missed some games. If he were to move on, I could see a team like the Detroit Red Wings maybe picking him up for a 3-year deal. They've got $21 million in cap space. But I personally think a guy like Ehlers would be better off if he just stayed in Winnipeg. Next up, I had Jamie Benn, but the news just broke that he re-signed in Dallas at $1 million per year. I had him sniffing around at the Toronto Maple Leafs, but that is not the case. So now at number 5, we're going to have Ivan Provorov, 28-year-old defenseman for the Columbus Blue Jackets. He made $6.75 million this year. I think that Columbus is on the uptick, and I think he could possibly just stay in Columbus, maybe just work out a way that, he's going to probably take a lateral deal or maybe just a little bit of a pay increase. $7.5 million would be high end, in my opinion, for him. Maybe he goes to a team like the Vancouver Canucks. They've got a guy in Adam Foote that liked, defensemen that could play in their own end and brought a little bit of snarl. I don't know that Provorov has so much snarl to his game, but I really do think a team like Vancouver's got a lot of moving parts on the back end, and just as an insurance policy, especially if they could get him fairly on the cheap, I think Provorov would be a good fit in Vancouver. Number 4, speaking of Vancouver, Brock Boeser. He's 28 years old. I think he would be a great fit. First of all, I think he needs a change of scenery. Something about him in Vancouver, I just don't think it's working out. He's a right wing. I think he should go to a team with some younger players that he could be, the elder spokesman. And I think some of these teams have players that have just as much skill as he does. And these 2 teams I'm going to mention right now, I think he would excel. The Chicago Blackhawks, you put him out there with either Berard or Frankie Nazar. He's a sniper. You put him out there, with the right combo of guys, and I think he would really go back to being, a 35, 40 goal scorer. Even in a crappy year this year that he had in Vancouver, still had 50 points, 25 goals, 25 assists. If you had thrown that into the Chicago lineup, they would be loving it. Or another young team, and I think this is a distinct possibility. They've got $36 million in cap space, the Anaheim Ducks. Boeser's a big body guy. You put him out there with Carlson, Gauthier, Mason, McTavish. They're really building something in Anaheim, and I think that's going to pop soon. Boeser would want to be there when that happens. Maybe they give him $7.5 million a year, and he goes to Anaheim. Again, they've got big cap space, and who knows what their plans are this off season, but I think Boeser would do very well in Anaheim or Chicago. Number 3, now we're getting into the big nitty-gritty names. John Tavares. Personally, because he wants to win now and because he wants to win in Toronto, I think he would stay and give the Maple Leafs a hometown discount if they could come to some sort of an agreement. The cap's going up. The Maple Leafs have got all sorts of moving parts this offseason. I don't know, maybe they'll offer him $12 million. Maybe that's a little bit rich, but he did have a good year. Maybe it's right around there. Another team that could, call him up and say, hey, we'd love to have you. And he would consider it because they are very close as well. The Los Angeles Kings. They've got $21.7 million in cap space this summer to work with. And if you were to put Tavares out there with guys like Kempe, Byfield, Fiala, Trevor Moore, that is a lot of firepower, and it's a lot of guys, especially, you bring Kopitar into the mix as well. That's a lot of high knowledge offensive skill. These are guys that think the game, especially you would be able to teach a kid like Byfield really, really how to be, the consummate professional. So I think Tavares is either going to take a little bit of a hometown discount to stay in Toronto, or maybe a team like the Los Angeles Kings would sign him. Next up, speaking of the Los Angeles Kings, their defenseman, Vlad Gavrikov. I see two teams that are probably going to get into a little bit of a bidding war for him, and he would do very well, in my opinion, on either team, the New York Rangers or the Edmonton Oilers. He made $5.875 million last year. I think he's getting to jump up to about $8.5 million. He's very sought after. He's strong in the defensive zone. He can play a shutdown style. He can play physical. He blocks shots for days. The Rangers have $12.7 million in cap space, and Edmonton's got $16 million in cap space, and both of those teams could really use a guy like him on their back end. I know there's probably going to be other teams in the mix, but I think those would be his two best fits. And then number one, and nobody, this is no surprise, Mitch Marner, Toronto Maple Leafs. And I think there's one team that he would be a perfect fit on, especially after the deal they made in the middle of the night last night, and that is Mitch Marner to the Utah Mammoth. I think what Utah's got right now, after they added Peterka, I think they've got basically Toronto light. Dylan Guenther is their version of Austin Matthews. Logan Cooley is their version of William Nylander. Keller is another version of Nylander. Peterka could be their Matthew Nyes. And if you were to put Mitch Marner in the mix with that, I think that Utah could take a huge jump this season. And after extending Peterka today, 5 years at $35 million, Utah still has $15 million in cap space, and that $15 million seems to be the magic number if you want to sign Mitch Marner. So I think Utah is going to be going all in on Marner, and they would just be trying to create what they have up in Toronto. So that's going to do it for the video today. Those are the landing spots for the top 10 NHL unrestricted free agents. Let me know what you think down in the comment section, where you think these players will sign. And if you could, please like the video. Don't forget to subscribe. And as we always do here at Clearing the Benches, let them know you're out there.